Argentina battled to a 1-1 draw away to Venezuela on a waterlogged pitch. So it's kind of hard to draw any conclusions from this one, given the conditions.
Yeah, the conditions were horrible, really. Messi played, came back with the national team, played the whole game. There were quite a lot of changes.
Served up the assist for Otamendi's goal, I believe.
That's right, exactly. Early on, then Venezuela came back. So I guess it's always a good point for Venezuela against the world champions to get a point like that, continuing their very decent qualifiers for the World Cup. Obviously, for Argentina, as we've said.
Yeah,
in CONMEBOL, they're pretty much guaranteed to qualify anyway, so they won't be too bothered if they drop 2 points or not.
Salomon Rondon.
Rondon again. Portugal stay perfect in the Nations League. They often do that with a 3-1 win away to Poland. Gab, the guy who scored the second goal, looks familiar. Look, he's done this before as well.
It's Cristiano, 133 international goals. I'm keeping count. He is now 56. He's got more goals than anybody who's biologically assigned male at birth in international football. He's only 57 away from the all-time record. He should
have had another one as well. He hit the crossbar.
He could have had another one. Yeah. Christine Sinclair is retired. Jules, 57 goals is a lot.
Yeah.
Are you sure 100% certain that he's not going to reach 190 and beat Christine Sinclair?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right. I hope people are recording this and they will troll you.
There's 10 games per season. If he scores even a goal per game, that's 10. He needs another 5 years. That's okay. That's without big competitions. But can he? Yeah. I mean, I would love him too, but
it would be awesome.
Let's be honest.
Brazil beat Chile 2-1 for the first away win in World Cup qualifying. Signs of progress, Jules?
Well, it was a bit laborious, I thought, but they won. Right now, the only thing they care about is to buy them a bit of time, a bit of peace, win games, even if it's not pretty. They won't care, and they certainly did that. They were a goal behind. They had to come back, which I think again is good for the character and for the spirit, etc. But it was far from being great. Again, it's not the first time we said that.
By the way, Edu Vargas scored again. He's like what, 62 now?
Yeah, no, exactly. Brazil President Lula noting that both goal scorers in that game, Gabi, play in Brazil, in the Brazilian league and not in Europe. So he suggested that maybe Coach Dorival Júnior should not be picking so many overseas players, i.e. Brazilian players who play outside of Brazil.
Yeah, I'll get to Lula in a second. But first of all, I think it's very important to note this is really a victory for who? For John Textor, because both these guys play for John Textor teams, for Botafogo, Luis Enrique, and of course Igor, whatever his name is, the new guy,
Igor Santos or something.
Anyway, we should know. Anyway, he scored a fine-headed goal.
Yeah,
proper center forward. How about that?
First goal for the national team,
and also Abner too, playing right back. He's at Leon. He's another Textor guy. So really, rather than harassing John Textor with lawsuits, I think Lula should consider making him an honorary senator. Igor Jesus, of course. Now, on to what Lula said. He said, those who play abroad are not better than those who are here. There's no Garrincha or Romario overseas. True.
Yeah.
Although there is a Vinicius, who's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He says it's just a bunch of young players who are not yet stars. Marquinhos, for me, of course, is a star.
Yeah.
Paqueta,
Bruno, I mean, there's no need.
In terms of superstars who play abroad, though, let's take him at face value. Let's leave the goalkeepers out of it. Those guys, I think, are legit massive superstars. For me, Marquinhos is, in terms of being world-class, established superstar, even though he's had a bit of a bumpier patch this season.
Yeah.
Vinicius, of course, untouchable. Anybody you ready to put in that absolute, no questions asked, global superstar category from Brazil, other than those guys?
But it's not just the superstar. It's just the Paqueta is better than anybody who plays in Brazil. So is Bruno Guimaraes. So is Rodrigo. Probably so is Hendrik. I don't know where this is going. What, they have to be superstars?
No, he's just saying that I think he's doing his job. He's the president of the country. He's proud of the country. He wants to support the league.
Yeah,
and he says, is there really such a gap between Igor Jesus and playing Rodrigo at center forward? I think that's the point he's trying to make.
There is. But I'm sure there's other positions where maybe not so much, but there are positions where, of course.
All right. Time to do some United speculation, Jules. A leading tabloid here in England has suggested that Edin Terzic is on the club shortlist if and when they part ways with Erik ten Hag. Now, in case Jim Ratcliffe gives you a buzz later on, how would you rank Terzic versus the other off-sided contenders? Graham Potter and Thomas Tuchel?
I mean, we like Edin Terzic because he's a really nice guy. We love the story of him as a Dortmund fan becoming the Dortmund manager. All great.
And he's lived in England before. He was an assistant.
Of course. He was at West Ham. Yeah, that's right. Really lovely guy. Great to work with. He's not at the level for me at Thomas Tuchel. We've seen, albeit he reached a Champions League final with Dortmund, but we also saw some catastrophic domestic form with a really good team in Dortmund, including obviously losing the title in the last game of the season, a title that was theirs to lose, really. So it's not for me. But again, I like him, really nice guy. But if I was United, I would not go for Edin Terzic.
Okay, what if Thomas Tuchel gets weird again and the choice comes down to Terzic and Potter? Who are you taking?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's not that tough. It's Graham Potter. Give him another chance. Come on, man.
I'm not sure about that one. Pep Guardiola, what about him? Appeared on the Italian talk show last night and talked about his future, about links with England as well, and who he thought was the greatest player in history. Gab, any surprises? Was that fun to watch?
It was fun. It's more of a talk show. It's not a sports show. But I said, like, I'll ask you these questions and I already know. I don't want, you're not going to answer them or you're not going to, he says, oh, I don't know. He generally doesn't know if he's going to be the city manager after the season.
Anything's been decided.
Nothing's been decided. They asked him about the England job as well. Nothing's been decided. He shocked me when he said, who is the greatest player in history? And he said, Lionel Andres Messi. That's really
that kind of surprise.
There was a really sweet moment when they surprised him and they brought on by video link Roberto Baggio. Of course, he played with at Brescia.
Yeah.
And he got all emotional. And he used a weird expression. He said Roberto Baggio suffered so many injuries at that point that his knee was like a washing machine. So, I don't quite understand.
I don't know, yeah.
Maybe he has so much scar tissue. It's like the inside of a washing machine. Drum. I don't know. Marca reporting that El Hilal are targeting Vinicius Júnior as a possible replacement for Neymar. Jules, should Real Madrid fans be worried?
Wow, Neymar out of contract obviously at the end of the season. Not that he's played much for them since he joined almost 18 months ago. There was an offer for Vinicius in the summer. A massive offer. We're talking 1 billion for the transfer fee, 1 billion for the players' wages over the next 5 years or so. Eventually they might get him, but not in the near future, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, if they really are offering 1 billion and Vinicius is like, I might want to take this. Yeah, I would rather. If I'm Real Madrid right now, the way the team is constructed, no disrespect, I would rather have 1 billion than have Vinicius. Also, because I have a guy who can play on the left wing, and it's pretty good.
True. That's already. Very true. And then with 1 billion, you can buy a lot of great footballers as well.
Exactly.
Gab, you were aware for this, so I'm going to ask you the question now again. But the independent panel ruled on the APT, the Associated Party transactions, in the Manchester City case. And we covered this already, as I said, but I'm just going to ask you, how is it possible that both sides claim victory?
This was a mystery to me, so I was just following this from afar, but obviously City say that they were procedurally unfair in the way they handled certain aspects of two of their deals, and also say that shareholder loans, because not everybody knows this, but if you own a club, you can either put money into the club via equity, or you can loan the club, which is what some clubs like the Cronkies at Arsenal or Brighton and so on, they loan money to the club usually at no interest rate or very low interest rate. The reason this is, and City are saying, I think City have a point here, this should be considered because it gives the club an advantage, but it also, the owners can always take the money back out theoretically, or at least if they apply for credit elsewhere, they can count that as an asset. The Premier League say, well, no, we've won, because they said the overall framework, the concept of associated party transactions is something that is worthwhile and is something that's legitimate. They're going to have to sit there, hammer this out. I wish they wouldn't do this all behind closed doors. All right, somebody described in the media here in England as a social media prankster. How wacky. Reportedly, he bugged Manchester United's dressing room at Villa Park when they played Aston Villa before the break, where, by the way, Erik Ten Hag, who, in spite of all the haters, he got a 0-0 draw, right? Point away from home.
Great result. Wonderful performance.
Jules, so he tried to bug the room. Apparently he had a phone in there that magically starts recording when you call it. Yeah. I don't know if this, but supposedly we know it exists. Supposedly the paper that reported this heard the recording.
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
I don't know, because if we can't hear it, what's the point? Like, if you don't hear it, I'm sure it would have been
security breach.
Yeah, of course, it would have been. It's not something you should do. I'm sure we would have heard a very inspiring team talk from our friend Erik Ten Hag, telling Lisandro Martinez and Matthias de Ligt that Johnny Evans plays in front of you, ahead of you, because he's better than you, and Harry Maguire too, by the way. I don't know. Sometimes I wish we could hear a bit more of those team talk and managers, because I think it's understand. So you see them in those documentaries that are released. We saw the City one, the Arsenal one.
But those are obviously carefully approved. Those are less interesting,
absolutely.
Right?
But I think sometimes it's good to know a bit more what's happening in there. I know the dressing room is private and etc., which we all for. But yeah, sometimes it's good, but not when you steal information like that.
I agree with you there. What I'm 100% convinced about is that nothing that's said in these team talks, while it may have some interest to the media, outside world, could be embarrassing, whatever. But from a pure footballing perspective, in terms of beating the other team, I am 100% certain that most people think it's totally irrelevant, because we've had the technology to go and bug the opposing team's dressing room since the 1950s.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people might have done this in the past. If it really gave you an edge, I guarantee you people would be doing this. You don't think Erik Ten Hag comes in with a unit sweeping for bugs, right? No. So I'm assuming
the main team talk is done before they leave the hotel anyway, or usually.
Exactly. So it's fun, but no more than that.
Yeah. Nigeria's game away to Libya on Tuesday is in that, Gab. It's in the African Cup of Nations qualifier because of what? What happened?
So apparently some people feel this is a tit for tat thing, because Libya had some logistical issues when they played in Nigeria before. They lost the first leg 1-0. So basically, Nigeria chartered a plane. It was diverted. It landed at a different airport. They were supposed to land in Benghazi. They landed somewhere else, several hours away. It lands at the airport, and then the players are not allowed to leave the airport after it lands. Several players tweeted about it. Victor Boniface, Willem Troostekong, and they explained that we're left here with no food. They even Boniface tweeted pictures of the players sleeping on benches. There's been no explanation from the Libyan side just yet as to what happened. The pilot of the plane, who's Tunisian, he was allowed to leave during those 14 hours and return. I don't know if he brought them food or snacks. I hope he did.
Yeah,
but the Nigerian guys weren't.
Crazy. Old school.
It's very old school. It reminds you that it's 2024. These players are multimillionaires. There's a lot of money in the game, but still, crap like this happens.
Yeah.
Jules, this brings us to an end.
Yeah.
But we got to come back on Thursday. More Nations League in the heat of it. We get right into the thick of it, and we might even get some early verdicts.
Yeah.
Until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.